Hello everybody and welcome to Retro Ratchet. So exciting first video in the new project series, and it is a brown Montego.
Thumbs up. Yep.
Please like and subscribe.
Oh god.
Pretty early for that.
So unfortunately nobody actually managed to guess correctly and figure out that it was going to be another Montego. The Montego Turbo actually started off the channel. That was one of the very first videos and a massive amount of hits from it. So no one actually guessed correctly. When I done the last month's roundup of what it could be, I had a lot of Vauxhall stuff mentioned. But no, my heart really lies with the British Leyland Rover kind of stuff. So we couldn't quite stretch to another turbo or an MG, but we've settled for something far rarer. It's a 2-litre HLS. As far as I'm aware, there's actually only 3 of these have survived. I don't know the status of the other 2, but I will find out quite shortly. So I think on that basis, anything where there is only 2 or 3 things actually left, you should really try and make the effort to save them. I mean, it probably is going to be an uneconomical project to save, but I can do most of the work myself, so that'll hopefully keep it reasonable and realistic to actually get it done. Okay, let's start with a walk around of the outside, and there's kind of a lot going on in the garage here, so I'll go through it all piece by piece. So as you will see, I mean, the car is a proper project car. It's going to need a full restoration. So we'll get to that at the very last part of the video, where's the plans, but now we'll just describe what we've got in front of us. So yeah, so missing grille, but we have another one of those there for it. So yeah, that bonnet, we can possibly be able to salvage that. It's quite a bit of corrosion around the front. HLS spec chrome strip, so that's interesting. Front wing. Yeah, so we've got the usual corrosion around here on the lip. Possibly be able to save this arch once we get dug into it and just replace that part of it. A-pillar, you've got the usual corrosion just around that seam. The Maestro Turbo had that, where the rust just gets under it. Windscreen, well, it has one and it's in one piece, which is good because they're getting kind of rare now, so we'll need to get that whipped out. Driver's door, now this is knackered. This part here, so somebody at some point has obviously tried to break into it. Same with the ignition barrel, so there's issues there. We need to get that fixed. Well, we won't be able to fix it, but we'll just have to replace it because that's all buckled in and there is huge amounts of corrosion. I don't know if you can see that there. Hang on, we'll just turn on some lights. Right, that's a wee bit better. So there's a whole ton of corrosion around there anyway, so there's no point in trying to replace that. I know from previous experience that'll just not work out. So sills are in decent condition. What we'll do is we'll just grab the camera and have a wee look inside. Won't be able to make it very well, but the floors are pretty much mint, as are the inner sills. And again, I'll have to have a proper dig into this myself, but the pictures I saw before I bought it, did imply this was in really good nick, which it is inside, so that's unusual. Bottom of the B-pillar, not too bad actually. Seen a lot worse, so I'll have to have a wee dig in around there. That's looking pretty good, so that's positive. Rear door, this one, I'm hoping we can save this one. There's a wee bit corrosion just in that front edge there. That'll cut out and hopefully we save the rest of that door. This is where things go downhill very fast in the back end, which I was aware of. So that's fine. So rear quarter, yeah, I mean it's pretty bad. So this is the better one out of the 2 actually. So yeah, the arch has got the usual Montego Maestro layers of filler that have been put in the past. So that's completely wrecked, kind of everywhere. Fuel filler area is not too bad. We've got corrosion there and there. Corrosion going on under here, and God knows what under the bumper. Something going on there, a whole load of filler. The car had a little bump on the rear at some point in its life that I was made aware of, so that's fine. We'll get into that a wee bit more later. Boot lid's actually not too bad, it's reasonably straight, so I wonder, possibly we'll get away with salvaging that, not sure. Rear bumper is absolutely knackered. You can see where that's been bumped, you know, that is coming apart there, so there's absolutely nothing we can do with that, so we do need a new bumper for that. Rear window looks good to me. Hopefully that will come out in one piece. Now this side, this is the worst part. You can see around here a lot of corrosion under that. It is quite common for these to corrode up here and under there. So that's pretty much wrecked as well. And the same with the arch is rotten. Okay. Next, the door. This door's pretty decent actually. I couldn't see a lot of problems on this one, so I'm hopeful we can salvage this. And this one, we've got a tiny wee bit of blister in there, similar to the Maestro, so I'll probably just cut that and re-weld in if that happens to be a hole, and the same at the front, so I'm hoping we can save that one as well. And that still looks pretty decent. And bottom of that B-post, pretty alright as well. Windscreen surround, so I think that looks a good bit better than the Maestro. There is a wee bit of corrosion around there that will get dealt with when the window comes out. And front wing, not the worst I've seen. A wee bit round that lip, possibly be salvaged that. The scuttle, from what I can see, is not too bad. So yeah, so we need a full body restoration. Oh, front bumper, yeah, I mean front bumper's kind of alright. Yep, we can maybe get away with salvaging that. Headlights, indicators, they're all kind of alright. So yeah, so body, not the worst I've seen, but quite a bit of work in it that we'll get onto in a little bit. Interior, so the interior is all stripped and carpets and stuff out at the moment. So quite a rare interior in these. Some of it looks in decent condition, so I need to get this all stripped out and see actually what we've got to deal with. Headlining is actually in really good condition, except it's all sagged, so that's a shame. Incorrect steering wheel on it, so we need to get that sorted out. Dashboard, yeah, so dashboard same as a Maestro, it's just started to lift there, which is pretty common on them, and a few cracks around the back, so that's not ideal, but the chance of probably finding a brown one of these are slim to zero. So that's interior. So what you probably also noticed from the video is there are a hell of a lot of parts floating about. So as part of the deal when I bought the car, I did buy also some useful parts, or more than useful, some quite rare ones. So we have full rear quarters. So anybody that has one of these know these are super rare to find, but when you've got a situation like this, I don't really think there's many other ways of tackling that kind of thing without having a full quarter, unless you're exceptionally skilled at metalworking, and I certainly wouldn't be able to sort that one out without having quarters. So we have two full quarters to go on. What we also have is we have a full back panel and this boot floor area. So there is a little bit of accident damage in it, and I mean minor. Actually, we'll go around, I don't know if that boot is open. Right, so there was a wee bit damage, accident damage in the boot. It's not massively obvious, you have to look quite close. You can see there this panel is in a little bit. Looking inside, you know, there's evidence of previous repairs and stuff, but you can see there, you know, where it has been hit. So anyway, we have a new panel to put in there and a new one of these, because that is pretty grim. Up here, typical Montego, we've got a bit of corrosion up in that wheel arch up there. So that'll be an interesting welding one. And we've got a bit of something going on up there as well. And yeah, you can see a wee bit on that quarter. So yeah, so lucky that we do have those parts, because that would be a really tricky repair without those. So these, just like I've done with the Maestro, you know, this will get fitted, I'll just weld this in. Same with that. And I think the plan is get another driver's door. So there's lots of other things as well. The car came with a new ignition lock and door locks. There's various bits of trim. You can see the carpet sitting up there as well. I'm going to get all these parts out and we'll probably cover that in another video. So we've got a bit of a head start, I think, in terms of the bodywork. Right, engine. Let's have a look at the engine. So there we have it. We have an engine block. So 2 litre O series. This one, as far as I'm aware, this was seized, this one, and it was removed for diagnostics of what was wrong with it. I think it was possibly oil pump failure. So this one's probably knackered, but we were supplied with another 2 litre O series sitting over there. Right, so let's take a look at this one. So I don't have any history on this one at the moment. I will need to do a little bit of digging to figure out what condition it's in. We also have a gearbox with it as well, so that's handy. Again, don't know the condition of the gearbox in that one. So, out of these 2 kind of units, we'll hopefully be able to make one good unit. So that's that. We have the original cylinder head sitting up here as well. Haven't had a look at that, but we'll get into that in a wee bit more detail in another video. Right, so I guess the important part of the video is what are the plans for this car. Should I do an engine transplant in it and put something else in it other than the original O series, a T series turbo, for example, a K series, or do we keep it totally standard? So we've got some options there, but I think what we'll start with doing is we'll get this engine out, we'll get this engine bay cleaned up, possibly maybe get this resprayed while we're in here, because most of the stuff's out it, so it makes sense to try and get just that squared away while we're in there. So the overall plan will be mechanicals, get it running, figure out what's wrong with it, get it running, so we'll have an engine, a gearbox, cooling system, get around the rest of the car and see what it's going to need for an MOT and get it MOT'd. In the short term, I'm going to reassemble the interior, make sure everything is present, and if it isn't, then I'll start looking for bits. We'll get a list together. One thing I have learned from the Maestro is try and get your list of parts together in advance, because some of them can be a little bit harder to find, and I'm guessing an early 2 litre like this could be kind of tricky on some fronts. So engine, reassemble interior, and then it's a case of figuring out how far to go with it, because it's obviously going to need brakes, it's going to need all the rubbers, brake lines, fuel lines, handbrake cable, all that kind of stuff that you would replace, as a matter of course, on a car that's been off-road for a number of years. And I'm estimating it has maybe been 25 years since this has been off the road, so hell of a long time. So then once we've got something that kind of runs and moves and is mechanically okay, we're going to figure out this bodywork and the quarters, fit the outer quarters, repair anything else that I happen to find. The inner rear arches, they also do need some repairs as well. There's a couple of holes of clock there, nothing too major, but hopefully we get away with no sills or floor work, because I don't really want to put it on the rotisserie. I'm probably not going to go that far with it to get it in the condition that the Maestro was in, but then maybe I'll see you in 8 years later and we'll do the final reveal of it done. It'll be banned, we'll be off the road by then anyway. So yeah, it's a bit of a plan. We're going to sort through the rest of these parts, see what we've got, and then take it from there. So I look forward to your comments, and I hope this is going to be some interesting content for you guys. It's something very different, it's something rare, and there's going to be a wide range of things we do in this. Body repairs, welding, it's going to need painting. We're going to have to figure out, we're going to have to get an engine actually running, we're going to have to make sure all the parts are there for the engines, any ancillaries that are missing, sourcing any rare pieces of trim. So I think it could be quite interesting. Let me know in the comments, have you owned a 2 litre HLS Montego? What do you know about them? Have you seen this car before? I'd be really interested to hear from you if you have any info on it. If you want to see how I got on with Project Montego, please remember to like and subscribe, hit that bell icon so you get notifications when I upload some videos. See you all next time.